Welcome to the podcast. Really exciting to talk to you. Great opportunity to talk to you at this stage as well, at this particular time.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Cool. Why don't we start with just you giving us a quick intro to who you are and what's going on for you at the moment? What's the exciting news and stuff?
So yeah, my name is Zvonimir. I'm from Croatia and I'm a founder of OAP. So OAP is a web whiteboard. It's one of the biggest collaborative whiteboards in the world. So, and recently, why we are here basically talking is that we have been acquired by Miro, by our biggest competitor, basically. And yeah, that's briefly it. And we have had quite a good success with our efforts. The most noticeable one, and this is the one I thought about a little bit before this podcast, is that we have the one thing that we have done amazingly well is that we have been the absolutely first on Google. We have had a tremendous SEO success, and we have always been like a small company, like 10 people company. In contrast to, for example, our acquirer, they have over 350 people. They have multiple teams for sales, for SEO especially, and even they haven't been able to throw us out and to be first above us. So this is basically our biggest success that you might be able to learn a little bit from, because I think that we have had quite a unique experience with Google's search engine. So yeah.
Okay, interesting. So out of interest, SEO and Google was essentially the kind of main growth.
Yeah.
There. Was that intentional from the beginning? Did you know that was going to be part of it?
No, so basically regarding marketing, so both me and my partner, we're engineers, and we have started like from the engineering perspective, like building features and all these things. And the SEO success, it basically came by itself. And we haven't been doing like we have had one person in marketing, but we haven't done anything specific that contributed to our success here. So it wasn't like intentional. But what was the reason, the success behind the SEO, is basically the customer experience, which I can definitely get into.
I think that's important, especially if it was not as intentional, like from the SEO side, like having a great product.
Yeah, so it definitely wasn't intentional. And when it came about, we definitely studied it quite a lot. And right now, when we were acquired, we also, the SEO team in Miro, also like researched quite a lot with us. And we have all tried to decipher our success on SEO. And we have came to a couple of conclusions which are quite unique. And I haven't had the chance to see any of those, because obviously, as a founder, as a CEO, I have researched both marketing and SEO tactics in my journey, both like myself and with a marketing person that we had. But I never stumbled upon this kind of approach to the SEO that we have seen and that we have kind of observed.
Why don't we just start with like your kind of customer experience principles, I guess? That's the thing you started with, like getting that right.
Yeah, so this is our main focus, and this is something that I have kind of gotten from my founder, from my partner. So he always wanted to be extremely focused on the simplicity of the product. It's extreme simplicity. And basically this like simplicity brought us to the state where we have been basically all the time. And we have seen, apart from the marketing or SEO side, like from our user, like customer interviews, number one thing why people love us is because of the simplicity. And as you can imagine, so as a collaborative whiteboard used quite a lot in educational system. So in education, there are quite a lot of like younger kids, like from, especially in K-12, that need simplicity. So for them, it was basically the crucial thing. But across the board, from all our customers, like even the business, because we also obviously had the educational users and we had the business users who are basically using the whiteboard to collaborate between remote teams, right? But so across all of them, number one thing that they have told us what is the most important thing on OAP was the simplicity. So I'm not sure if you want me to share my screen so your listeners can see basically how OAP looks like.
Yeah, show us.
All right, so this is basically, it's not the best time to present this since we are transitioning to Miro. So what will happen right now is that OAP will become Miro Lite. So this will be like a lighter version of Miro's whiteboard.
Oh.
So it is partially visible, but let me try to explain. So basically right now, what happens when you go up to OAP.com, this shows, so which obviously this wasn't landing the homepage of OAP. But it looked like this. Let me show it to you how it looked before. So you'll see more closely. Give me a moment. So basically this was the landing page of OAP, right, before the acquisition. So it had the small pop-up where it had basically just one liner. And after that, it had one main button, start drawing or open a save board, start with template, couple of these like secondary things. But the most important thing is that in the background of this pop-up, you can already see the whiteboard. And you can click either start drawing or any of these buttons, or you can just click on anywhere on the shaded part, right? And if you clicked it, the pop-up would disappear, and straight away, right away when the pop-up disappeared, you would be on a whiteboard and you would be able to start drawing. So one click, you remove the pop-up. The second click you do anywhere on the page, so the default tool was a pencil, basically just the writing pencil. You would start and see the stroke of a pencil, right? Mm-hmm. So here you will basically three things that we kind of saw as basically the side effects of this. So first one is, and this was kind of our initial way of thinking, is that with this, what we can do is we can load the whiteboard. So whiteboard is obviously quite heavy computationally because you have to load the JavaScript canvas and all the drawing functions and all these other things. This pop-up, while people are reading, this gives us like 2 or 3 seconds to load everything in the background. So you don't have like you don't see that it is loading for a long time. And the initial page, what you're seeing here is extremely small. The HTML and CSS of the initial load on the site is extremely low. So basically you have this pop-up and like a toolbar on the top right, top left, and all these things, which is basically really minimal when you're comparing this to a fully featured, like a website with a lot of text and this and that. This is extremely small, right? So with this, what we had is extremely fast initial load. This contributes obviously to the SEO. But the second thing is that users don't see that it's loading from any perspective like long time. And the third thing is that users get to the initial success extremely fast, right? So they have one click, and after that they see drawing. And when you see drawing, you're already interacting, you're already doing something, and you already want to try it out. You want to click around and you see that you can draw. Okay, this is cool. You try different tools. So it is very engaging. Now with all this, from the user's perspective, it was really good, and we had quite a big growth comparing to our marketing initiatives and all these things. But the most important thing for the SEO that the SEO really honored is that we had huge time on the homepage. The time that people spent on the homepage, because this was the homepage. You click here, and you're on average, your time on the homepage was around 15 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
So Google signaled that this is high quality.
Yes, that this is extremely high quality. That people, when they come onto OAP, they're straight away there, and they can basically see whatever they're looking for.
That's cool. Yeah. So I guess from having it being so like quick to load as well, when loading up and then loading in the background, you reduce like the bounce rate as well. Like less people are coming, lagging, and then leaving. Well,
definitely. Although I would say that we had extremely small like bounce rate. Although I wouldn't say that the bounce rate was because of the load, but rather because of the customer success. Even if you're not looking for something like this, you would just want to like scrabble a little bit on the page, because how often do you have like drawing board in front of yourself, and you always want to like scrabble around and at least be like 10 seconds there or whatever.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think it's one of the things when I went on the website as well, because you're so quick to engage, it felt like I was immediately making judgments on whether I thought this was, oh, that's cool or not. Like that kind of, is this the right place? And I can imagine it's quick to engage, you quick to make that yes or no decision.
Well, yes, I guess yes or no, but I guess Google doesn't care if you say no, right? They care if you stay and how high quality is the website. And the way I kind of see Google in like their indexing of the page is kind of like a black box. You don't know what's happening inside, and you can see some kind of ways to increase the SEO, but in the end, you never know what Google will notice and what will it focus on. And the way, and I spoke with one Google representative, and it was extremely hard to get to anyone from Google. It's like they're super, super close. And what they said, and what kind of made sense for us at least, was for us to focus on the user and not focus on the SEO, but focus on users, to give them relative content, to give them something high quality and all these things. And when you take a look at our site from that perspective, we really have done that. So yeah, this was kind of my lesson that I took, that for SEO, definitely it's good to focus on the customer experience and to nail that.
I think that there is so much advice on what works and what doesn't, but I think it's good advice to distill it down to one thing, because in the end, like, Google wants to show the best content to anyone who, it's your own users, so they have a good experience. And then there's all these signals that they've weighted in some crazy algorithm that is going to be hard to guess. So what were you ranking for? So how many like monthly visitors were you getting to the website by the end?
So right now we have around 1.5 million monthly active users, and by monthly active users we basically calculate people who do something on the actual board. It's kind of our user. So it is quite similar to the actual visitor. So it's around 1.5 million.
Okay. So it's a big number. So it's not just one keyword. It's not like someone typing in online whiteboard. What are the kind of main things that you can rank one page for?
Well, I mean, obviously it's quite diverse, and obviously we have, if you take a look at like all our keywords, we can range like on a level on the fourth spot on the first page for some who knows what kind of keywords.
Yeah.
For the ones that we were on the number one spot was basically anything related to online collaboration on the board, whiteboards, online whiteboards, collaborative whiteboards, any kind of version of a whiteboard, and collaboration.
Yeah, wow. And that's a huge topic, I guess, and quite a valuable thing to be at the top of as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, we were even like, if you put in like whiteboard, we would be above Wikipedia, right? So it was absolutely
nice. Is there anything else on the SEO side that like you've diagnosed, or it's all coming down to that, the best customer experience, giving the user what they want?
Yeah, I would say definitely the customer experience.
Cool. That's awesome. I can see really why Miro wanted to make this partnership with you guys to become one company. I guess out of interest, how did that come about? Did they just reach out to you and say, we can't beat you on SEO, so let's collaborate?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't all about the SEO, but yeah, they contacted us and we started to talk with them, and it was quite a long process. We started talking in May last year till closing. 5 months actually.
Just over the pandemic then?
Oh yeah. Everything remote.
What about, so you said you've also had, is it 60K MRR from users? So at what point in your journey did you start trying to convert users to paid? How did that go?
So regarding the transition in the beginning, when we first started making any kind of money, so this is apart from marketing, but this is kind of a way of like relationship with customers. we always extremely listened to our users, whatever they say. So then initially the whole app was created as a side project of my partner, and he created it just when he started to work with JavaScript Canvas and try to do basically like a library around the JavaScript Canvas for developers to have like easy time implementing the whiteboard. But then, like at first, it was only for developers. It was like an API. So we also had an API, so you can embed the entire engine, the entire real-time boarding engine into your own website. And in the beginning, it was only the API. And as the project progressed, people were starting to ask more and more about, hey, I really like the API, but I want to see it somewhere. I want to be able to see how it should work and all these things. So we implemented, like the homepage was just the whiteboard, so you can see how it looks like. It's like a demo for the API.
All right.
And then that's when users started to come, and when people started to use the whiteboard aside from the API, and then we introduced like some premium features, because obviously you need to develop features and you need to put in money and invest into development of the application. And for that, we made it so that users need to pay for premium features, and people were willing to pay little, and step by step, as we were implementing more features and making them more accessible, people were paying more and more.
Did you put the paid like option to convert to paid like on the homepage in the whiteboard somewhere? Was it features that were locked, or yeah, how did you approach that?
So one thing that we switched at one point, and this was that in the beginning, you had quite a hard time and this was a while back, like 7 years ago or 6 years ago or something like that. You had quite a hard time in exploring and seeing that actually there are premium features to the whiteboard. And what we did afterwards, which also like increased our conversion, was that we made on the whiteboard, you can see all the premium features. In the beginning, you only saw the free features, and when you purchased the premium, then the whole layout changed, and you had the premium buttons and all these things. And what we did afterwards is that we added all the premium features right there on the board, and the free ones you can just click and you will be able to use them. But the premium ones, when you click them, you would see a pop-up and this will say like, hey, this is like a premium feature. It would be like a brief, like a GIF, like a video showing what the feature does, and the buy button underneath. And that worked quite well.
That makes a lot of sense, because it's sort of at the point of need. Like I want to use it, and then it's there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Cool, perfect. You've been very forthcoming, lots of great insights. So thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm happy to share this, because this is something that I haven't seen in my research. So yeah, I'm definitely happy to share.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's an important one for people who go too far into the technicalities of trying to get it right, when you can stay to those like basic principles of putting the customer first and that kind of thing.
Exactly. I mean, for the SEO, you can do only so much regarding the technical aspects, and you can research it till the end of the world, but the technicalities like the tags and all these things won't help you get to the number one. You need to have like really organic reason why people choose you, whether is it like backlinks to show Google that you're good, or that a customer experience is really good.
Cool, perfect. Thank you. Thanks for your time. It's been great talking.
Absolutely, Ben. It was definitely a pleasure.